Adult deer have a reddish-brown coat in the summer, and the color fades to a duller grayish-brown in the winter. Narrow snout and long tongue, they can stick their nose into vegetation and avoid what they don't want to eat. The deer is watching and kind of curious about that cat. Still paused and watching. That one in the back has quite the neck movement. I noticed 2 possums. Wouldn't that be neat this spring if they would have a bunch of little offspring? I would love to see that. I'm fascinated to get to see how birds fly. Seems like different ones have a different way. The one on the left should be growing antlers this spring. I think this is the mama and her 2 little ones from last spring. 23 degrees and you can see its breath. 46 degrees and causing a little fog on the lens. 32 degrees and the perfect temperature for snow. Here 1 minute and gone the next. And sometimes it captures that pretty sunset. They have teeth that are precisely designed to grab, shear off, and grind and crush plant parts into consistency that they can swallow quickly. The cat startles the deer. The cat decides to climb the tree and the deer still watching. The cat's halfway up the tree on the left. Can you see it? These are white-tailed deer. It refers to the white underside of the deer's tail. It displays and wags when it senses danger. If I was guessing, I think it's peeing. The corn on the cob is a little more difficult for them to eat. And the cats are a little curious. They're going to check things out. I don't think they're so interested in what food there is for them. The crow stumbles on the ear of corn. 1, 2, 3, let's eat. That was scary for the possum. Deer are intelligent animals that can differentiate between the calls of different deer, assess risk, and modify their behavior. Deer make a variety of sounds, including bleats, whistles, whining sounds, loud snorts, and squawks. This buck has already lost one of his antlers. He should be losing the other one any time. Cautiously coming out of the woods. And there goes the curious cat. The deer rest or are inactive during daylight hours, most of the time. It found a safe, comfortable spot to settle in. Many people have heard that a group of deer is called a herd, but fewer know that a herd of deer may also be called a mob, a bunch, or even a wrangle. When a deer huddle together to conserve heat on cold winter nights, that herd or herds becomes a yard. They seem to come out of the woods on the same route, same path. It started to snow, and the snow started to add up. I think it's cool to get to capture and see moments like this. Normally you wouldn't. Snow had gotten pretty deep. I read that antlers do not serve as weapons against predators, but are used during the mating season when the males fight to breed with females. The snow's really starting to get deep. It's halfway up their leg. I like the glistening on the snow. I'm sure that has to be cold walking through the snow. Half its leg is in snow. And there it goes. The path has been used a good bit, and now it's widened out by all the deer and animal traffic. The fox doesn't trust the cameras. Foxes are solitary. Watch out for the camera. That's cool. The deer's prancing through the snow. Foxes have whiskers on their faces and legs, which help them feel their way around in the dark. They have a strong skunk musky odor, especially in their urine. White-tailed deer have good eyesight and hearing. Only the male deer grow antlers, which are shed each year. Deer encounter danger on a regular basis. Stretching or checking things out. Foxes are more like cats than dogs. Similar to cats, foxes are nocturnal. Pausing and analyzing. And we're good to go. Foxes can run up to 45 miles per hour, depending on the type of fox. White-tailed deer are known for their speed, agility, and swimming abilities. They can run up to 40 miles per hour, jump up to 8 feet, and swim up to 13 miles per hour. And there goes the fox. The possum will come out when it snows. But when it snows, I don't normally see the raccoons. Each buck has its own distinctive antlers. Shaking off some rain? This is a fox going on one of the back trails. And this is a coyote on the same trail. Both are avoiding the camera. The buck's antlers are shed from January to March and grow out again in the spring. As antlers regrow, they're covered in a furry coat called velvet. Male deer are called bucks, easily distinguished in the summer and fall by their large set of antlers. New antlers are grown annually and fall off in the winter. White-tailed deer weigh about 110 to 300 pounds. I read that most white-tailed deer live about 2 to 3 years. The maximum lifespan in the wild is 20 years, but a few deer live past 10 years old. Bucks shed their antlers in late winter due to a drop in testosterone levels. The process is called shedding, and it's normal, and it doesn't hurt the buck. You can look for shed antlers in the woods in late winter, typically January through March. Squirrels, mice, and porcupines often eat the tines first, then the main beams. There went the coyote again. It's pretty neat to watch a deer lay down with their long legs, how they fold them and lay. Don't mind me, just passing through. They're in a hurry to get away from something. During the fall rut, bucks' testosterone levels rise. As the rut ends and daylight increases in late winter, testosterone levels drop. This drop in testosterone weakens the connection between the antler and the skull. A special type of bone cell reabsorbs calcium between the antler and the skull. The antler falls off. Out in the cold and braving the snow, looking for food. Close-up of a tongue and an eye. A very curious raccoon. Maybe if I get a little higher I can see. Stopping to do a little grooming. One raccoon out and one cat in. Walking as if it's on a mission. And along comes a fox. Is that a Mr. and Mrs. Bluebird? Blue Jay? The fox on a return trip. Raccoons will eat whatever's most convenient, like nuts, berries, fruits, acorns, grasshoppers, mice, fish, frogs, insects, and it looks like worms. Fox checking things out. Snowing. Don't think it likes what it sees. Possums find shelter in burrows made by other animals, or hollow logs or trees, wood piles, rock crevices, and spaces in buildings. A fox has sharp hearing and smell, which help them locate prey. They can hear a mouse squeak from 100 feet away. They stalk and pounce on their prey, similar to cats. Possums in really cold, snowy weather stay protected in their dens. They can also be seen all winter if the conditions aren't too bad, but in really cold weather, they have to be careful when they're foraging for food at night because they're prone to frostbite on their paws and ears. Raccoons live in a variety of dens, including hollow trees, burrows, and human structures. You can see the eyes of the deer in the darkness. Several different animals come and go on this trail. Possum has wet, muddy legs. The average lifespan of a raccoon in the wild is 2 to 3 years. Captive raccoons have lived 13. What kind of bird is this? Is it a dove? A fox has a long, bushy tail known as a brush. Raccoon predators include cougars, bobcats, coyotes, and domestic dogs. Large owls and eagles will prey on young raccoons. Possums have many predators, including dogs, coyotes, foxes, bobcats, owls, hawks, and large snakes. Deer have many predators, including coyotes, wolves, bears, mountain lions, and jaguars. But as far as I know, in the wild, I don't think there's any mountain lions or jaguars in West Virginia. Fox eat rabbits, rodents, birds, frogs, earthworms, fruit and berries, crickets, caterpillars, grasshoppers, and more. Possums eat a wide variety of foods, including fruits, vegetables, grains, insects, and small mammals. They are also opportunistic scavengers that will eat dead animals, garbage, and pet food. Deer, especially does and fawns, often hang together for protection and companionship. The little possum that could, and it did. And that's a nice buck. They all have their distinguished antlers until they lose them. Fox, fog or snow, that pretty time in the evening. Bucks form groups, called bachelor groups, especially during periods when they're vulnerable or not competing for mates. Curious if this is deer or coyote. Right now, they seem to be competing for food. The deer's curious, but the raccoon's gonna come eat anyway. If a deer stares and stomps its hooves, it may be trying to warn other deer nearby. It may be trying to figure out if you're a threat or just part of the scenery. And this is how they eat an ear of corn. When a deer is alert, it typically holds its head up high. If it thinks it hasn't been seen, it could be stationary, or might even look from multiple perspectives to see what caught their attention. The eyes and ears are usually forward. Deer have a strong sense of smell, about 60 times stronger than humans. White-tailed deer are most active at twilight and just before dawn. In the summer, bucks may show strength in numbers. It may aid in predator avoidance at a time when bucks relatively defenseless, when their antlers are growing and vulnerable to damage. Antler sheds are important for healthy habitat. Not sure if this buck lost its antler, or if it never had one, if it experienced some type of injury. Deer are very social, and you often find groups of bucks fraternizing throughout the spring and summer. While their antlers grow rapidly underneath a fuzzy sheath of velvet, this is called a bachelor group, and oh boy, things are about to change. But we're not at that season yet. That'll be coming very soon. He might be a little late for the treat. Hopefully he can find something. During the day, possums sleep in dark, quiet places like hollow trees, brush piles. Raccoons feed on whatever is most convenient. Can deer recognize humans? Yes, deer can recognize humans by sight, smell, and sound. They can learn to distinguish between humans who are friendly and those who are not. In the winter, deer will find places to shelter from the cold and wind. They will often bed down in thickets or under evergreen trees. If there's snow on the ground, they will seek out areas where the snow is not as deep. Deer also use their antlers to brush away the snow from their food sources. Their winter coats of hollow hair that conserve body heat, along with decreased movement, and a slower winter metabolism that requires fewer food resources, help most deer navigate winter in relatively good condition. but severe winters with very deep snow and prolonged cold temperatures can increase deer mortality. A few inches of light snow won't bother them. An actual snowstorm, one with wind and pounding snow, will send them to bed. Deer typically have multiple feeding periods throughout the day, often in the morning, late morning, and evening. Fox have exceptional hearing and can hear a watch ticking from over 30 meters away. A deer needs to consume about 6% to 8% of its body weight daily. Male foxes are called dogs, and female foxes are called vixens. Fox fathers teach their young survival skills. They can live in both the countryside and the city. White-tailed deer eyes are set back from their mouth so they can see what they're eating, which assists with selectivity. Squirrels can jump up to 20 feet using their long hind legs and short front legs. They have 4 front teeth that never stop growing, about 6 centimeters per year. The fox has come closer to check things out. The deer and the raccoon meet again. Is this a crow or a raven? Flock, the most general and widely used term for a group of birds. One goes up and one goes down. Now you see it, now you don't. Shadow of a bird flying from the camera. And this is where you can subscribe. Thank you for watching a Jill Garbart Outdoors video.